Hello, good afternoon. Parents are being urged to know the symptoms of scarlet fever after 6 children in England and Wales died recently from the bacteria that causes it. The Strep A infection is normally mild, but there have been more cases than usual and a higher number of deaths compared to recent years. Here's our health editor, Hugh Pym.
Pupils at this school in Penarth in South Wales have been saying goodbye to Hannah Rope. She died after contracting invasive Group A streptococcal disease. In a tribute online, her parents say, "Our hearts have been broken into a million pieces." Infections caused by Group A strep bacteria are usually mild with symptoms like sore throat or skin infections. The bug can also cause scarlet fever. Health officials say they're seeing more scarlet fever this year than usual. In the week to the 20th of November, there were 851 cases recorded in England. The average for the same week in preceding years was 186.
It can cause a variety of illness, including impetigo, which is a skin infection, and scarlet fever, which is an infection quite often preceded by a sore throat, which is very common with Group A streptococcal infections, that then proceeds to high fever, headache, and a classical rash that people get, which is like sandpaper, can be red or purple on lighter skin types.
It's believed one reason for the increase in cases is that children were less exposed to scarlet fever and other infections during the pandemic. And very rarely Strep A can cause the invasive condition which can prove fatal. Strep A infections and scarlet fever are easily treated with antibiotics, and if there are clear symptoms, parents are advised to contact NHS 111 or a GP. If a child shows signs of deteriorating after a bout of scarlet fever or serious symptoms develop, the advice is to seek urgent medical help. Hugh Pym, BBC News.
Almost a fifth of unaccompanied Albanian child migrants who've come into the care of Kent County Council this year have gone missing. Charities fear they could become the victims of trafficking. Simon Jones is with me now. Simon, what more can you tell us about this?
Well, there's been a huge rise this year in the number of Albanians crossing the channel by small boat. Now, if a child arrives unaccompanied by any other relative, they often become the responsibility of Kent County Council. Now, it says this year it's taken on almost 200 Albanian children, but 39 of those children have gone missing. Now, the charity ECPAT UK, which aims to protect vulnerable children, says it fears that some of the missing children could be sexually exploited or forced to work in the so-called grey economy. As regards Kent County Council, it says it tries proactively to identify children at risk of going missing, and if a child is eventually found, there'll be a full debrief to try to find out if lessons can be learned.
OK, Simon, thank you very much. Simon Jones. The MP for Bournemouth West, Conor Burns, is to be reinstated to the Conservative Party after being cleared of misconduct. He was suspended as patron of the party's LGBT+ group and sacked as Trade Minister following a complaint about his behaviour at the Tory party conference. Mr Burns consistently denied any wrongdoing and said the experience was a living nightmare. 5 recipients of the Earthshot Prize set up by Prince William have been announced at a star-studded ceremony in Boston. The event marks the culmination of the Prince and Princess of Wales's trip to America. Daniela Ralph's report contains flash photography.
A green carpet for the Earthshot arrivals. It was sustainable glamour wherever you looked, and that included from the royals. The Princess of Wales was wearing a dress she hired for the night, and the jewellery once belonged to Princess Diana. The event was the final engagement on their visit to Boston and the centrepiece of this trip. Launched by the Prince of Wales, it's now one of the most significant projects he supports.
It's right across the board. You could be a royal, you could be a prince, a princess, but if we don't have an Earth in the future, there's none of that even.
So much.
Famous faces and friends of the couple. Many came to take part in the ceremony that honoured the most innovative and ambitious ideas to solve the biggest environmental problems.
It's my hope the Earthshot legacy will continue to grow, helping our communities and our planet to thrive.
After a tricky week, the Prince and Princess of Wales will be relieved to have ended their trip to America on a positive note here at the awards ceremony. but it has all been a reminder that this is going to be a difficult and exposing time for the royal family. Events this week have at times overtaken the planned schedule. The trailer for Harry and Meghan's new series on Netflix released right in the middle of this trip. But the approach of the Prince and Princess of Wales has been to try to avoid distraction and focus on the job in hand. From the full spectator experience at the basketball to the odd impromptu walkabout,
In a spectacular setting.
and a meeting with the president.
Yeah, well,
They started this trip having to release a statement condemning racism. They ended it thanking the American people for the warm reception they'd received. It's been quite a journey. Daniela Ralph, BBC News, Boston.
With all the sport now, here's Gavin at the BBC Sports Centre. And where else to start but the World Cup, Gavin?
Yes, absolutely, Anita. We're into the knockout stages of the World Cup in Qatar now, with the first matches of the last 16 underway later this afternoon. England have to wait until tomorrow when they take on African champions Senegal. Let's get the latest now from the England camp with our reporter Alex Howell. Alex, good to see you. How are the preparations going for that big match then for Gareth Southgate's side?
So preparations are underway, and behind me all 25 England players are out on the pitch going through that final full session they have before that match against Senegal tomorrow. They may do some tactical work in a meeting room or walking through different scenarios on the pitch tomorrow, but today is the last time that Gareth Southgate can look at his players and decide on that lineup. He's got the big decisions to make, hasn't he, in the attacking areas, whether to play Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, Raheem Sterling or Phil Foden. Going into that match, Senegal are highly motivated. It's the first time they've been in the knockout stages for 20 years of the World Cup. Gareth Southgate will be hoping that his side can get through that match and avoid any of the upsets like we've seen in other games in the tournament.
Alex Howell, thank you very much indeed. Much appreciated. Now, away from the World Cup, England's cricketers took late wickets against Pakistan in the first test in Rawalpindi. It looked to be another frustrating day for them as the home side racked up the runs in pursuit of England's huge total. Joe Wilson reports.
Test cricket is the battle between ball and bat. Guess which is winning in Rawalpindi. Abdullah Shafiq passed 100 in control. England trying everything, trying Will Jacks. Edge caught, Shafiq gone. 225 for one. Imam Ul Haq was another 100 maker in this record-breaking bowler-aching match. Would he ever make a mistake? Well, it turns out yes. Like that. Gone. There are permitted ways to alter the state of the ball using the sweat on Jack Leach's head. A new one. And that's a new ball in Leach's hand. And that's Azhar Ali out. LBW? Yes. But next, Babar Azam, showman, captain, the real thing. On this pitch, in these conditions, he made his 100, of course he did. That's why matches in Pakistan matter. Their hero, right in front of their eyes. And did they really see Babar hit this to a fielder? Out. Pakistan closed 7 down, 158 behind, and he will always believe he can win. Joe Wilson, BBC News.
And that is just about all the sport from us for now, Anita. A quick reminder that there is domestic football today with the Women's Super League. Matches are taking place. Leaders Manchester United are playing Aston Villa. You can get updates from that on the BBC Sport website, but we'll keep you updated throughout the afternoon on all the World Cup action.
Thanks, Gavin. And that's it for now. We're back at 5:20 now on BBC One. It's time for the news where you are. Goodbye.